Good morning, Mr. Behal.
Good morning.
I'm going to cover some of the same ground you just did with Mr. Puentes with a few extra questions. Just to confirm, as of March 13th and 14th of last year, you lived at 105 Crestview Drive, apartment 4 in Parkview, Iowa,
Correct.
and Taylor Escontrias lived with you.
Correct.
The two of you shared a bedroom.
Correct.
You shared a bed.
Correct.
You're in a romantic relationship with her,
Correct.
and it was a sexual relationship.
Correct.
Did the two of you pool money?
What do you mean?
Well, for example, you went to a number of stores that day, Dollar General or Dollar Store, Hy-Vee, Casey's, etc. Who was paying for the items you purchased?
She was.
And she was purchasing things for both of you.
Correct.
Okay.
Other than the foundation.
I think during your interview with Detective Rowling, you told him that there were some problems in your relationship with Taylor.
Correct.
You told him that Taylor always kind of made it seem like you weren't part of the relationship.
Correct.
And Taylor told you earlier on March 13th that it was a one-sided relationship.
Correct.
And you told Detective Rowling that Taylor was always talking.
Correct.
I believe you just mentioned that as of March 13th and 14th, both you and Taylor had phones.
Correct.
And if I remember your interview right, that evening on the 13th, while you're playing cards, the two of you were taking turns playing music on Taylor's phone. Is that right?
On both of our phones.
Okay. And you recall Detective Rowling asking you where Taylor's phone was when he spoke with you on March 14th?
Correct.
And you knew where the phone should be?
Should have been by the bed. Correct.
You told him it should have been right next to the bed on Taylor's side.
Correct.
And you knew Taylor's phone did not have a passcode or PIN.
Correct.
You mentioned going to the hospital. I want to talk with you about your injuries. You had a cut on your side.
Correct.
And you told Detective Rowling you had no idea how you got that cut.
Correct.
And you told Detective Rowling, for all you knew, you could have accidentally stabbed yourself.
Correct.
And you told Detective Rowling that you actually thought the cut came from the car accident.
Correct.
Okay. And you received treatment for that cut at the hospital.
Correct.
You got stitches.
Correct.
You did not have a concussion.
I do not know.
Okay. Your CT scan showed no acute findings when you're at the hospital, didn't it?
I don't know.
Your Honor, may I approach the Elmo?
You may.
I'm going to show you some pages from Defense Exhibit 5, which are your medical records. You read the highlighted portion?
Can I? Yes.
Yeah, it says CT head and C-spine showed no acute findings. Is that right?
That is what it says, yes.
For reference for the record, that's page 115 of 137, which appears at page 136 of the PDF that forms Defense Exhibit 5. You were diagnosed with an abdominal laceration, alcohol intoxication, and hypokalemia.
I would assume so, if that's what the record said.
Page 111 of 137 appears in your Exhibit 5 at page 132. It says diagnosis, abdominal laceration, alcohol intoxication, and hypokalemia. Is that
Correct.
right? Hypokalemia is a low level of potassium. Is that correct?
I am not sure.
Let's take a look at your discharge instructions. Page 130 of 137, which appears at page 151 of the PDF in Exhibit 5. Highlighted portion says hypokalemia is a low level of potassium. Did I get that right?
Correct.
It states this problem has many different causes. Kidney problems, diet, and medicines like diuretics and laxatives can cause it. So can vomiting or diarrhea. In some cases, cancer is the cause. Your doctor may do tests to find the cause of your low potassium levels. Did I get that right?
You did.
Word concussion doesn't appear anywhere in your records in Exhibit 5, does it?
Not that I have been shown, no.
Just to be clear, Your Honor, when I've referenced Exhibit 5, the defense did not use a letter label for that exhibit. It's marked as Defense Exhibit 5. Let's turn to your interview. Detective Rowling, at the start of it, asked you about your intoxication level,
I believe so.
and you told him you were feeling pretty lucid.
That is what was said, yes.
That's what you said.
Yes, that is what is said, yes. I apologize.
And on March 14th, you were coming off of a pretty long bender.
Yes,
You told Detective Rowling that you're a heavy drinker.
correct.
You told him you drink a lot,
Correct.
that you're an alcoholic.
Correct.
And you had been on a bender for about a week, then off for 2 to 3 days, and then you drank again on March 13th.
Correct.
And it's normal for you when coming off a bender like that to not sleep for the next 3 or 4 days.
Correct.
Detective Rowling spoke with you about what happened at your apartment the evening of March 13th to the 14th, and you gave Detective Rowling 2 different versions of what happened.
Correct.
The first version, you said you remembered Taylor getting a knife, you tried to take it away from her, she sliced you or slashed you with it, and you shoved her into a wall before getting the baseball bat.
Correct.
None of that was true.
No.
You made it up.
Correct.
But you did hit Taylor with a baseball bat.
As far as memory goes, yes.
You told Detective Taylor that you remembered hitting her with a bat.
Correct. As far as memory goes, yes.
All right, Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Show you State's Exhibit 23. Recognize this?
I do.
It's your baseball bat.
Correct.
This is the bat you hit Taylor with.
Correct.
That's her blood on the bat.
Correct.
When you hit her with that bat, Taylor was facing away from you.
As far as memory I can construe and sorry, I apologize. As far as my memory withstands, yes.
You told Detective Rowling that Taylor was facing away from you when you hit her with that bat.
Correct.
That she was on the ground, either crawling or kneeling.
That was what was said, correct.
That was what was said by you.
Correct.
And Taylor was within 5 feet or so of the front door to your apartment.
Correct.
You told Detective Rowling you believe Taylor was crawling toward the door when you hit her with the bat.
Correct.
And you told Detective Rowling you didn't know why Taylor was crawling toward the door.
Correct.
You thought it was probably to leave or get help or something.
Correct.
You told Detective Rowling you remember Taylor screaming.
Correct.
Taylor was screaming while she was trying to get to the door.
Correct.
And you told Detective Rowling that she stopped screaming when you stopped swinging the bat.
Correct.
This is a point I'm not clear on. Did you stop swinging when she stopped screaming, or did she stop screaming after you stopped swinging?
I am unaware.
Did you tell Detective Rowling you couldn't put an actual number on how many times you hit Taylor with a bat?
I believe so.
You thought it was maybe 6 times?
I believe so.
Dr. Klein testified about Taylor's blunt force injuries. You inflicted those.
I would assume so.
Okay. You inflicted 15 lacerations to Taylor's head.
According to evidence.
You inflicted 1 abrasion to her head.
According to evidence.
You inflicted 1 contusion to her head.
According to evidence.
You don't dispute that, do you?
I can't dispute the evidence in front of us.
You inflicted 1 abrasion to her back.
According to evidence.
You inflicted 6 contusions to her back.
According to evidence.
And you inflicted another 4 contusions to her upper extremities.
According to evidence.
Approach the witness, Your Honor.
You may.
Show you Exhibit 29. Recognize this?
I do.
That's your knife, isn't it?
It is.
It's got Taylor's blood on it.
It does.
And after you were done beating Taylor with the bat, Exhibit 23, you stabbed her with Exhibit 29.
I'm going to object argument.
It's sustained.
Can we approach?
You may.
According to the evidence, that's as much as he's going to say about what happened to poor Taylor, the victim in this case.
Horrible. Yeah, I mean, it's still effective while you listen to all the things that he did to her. It's just heartbreaking.
Oh yeah, it's an effective cross-examination. Let's get to a break. We'll get you back inside of that courtroom for more in the Visions of Violence murder trial for Christopher Behal happening in Iowa.
An Iowa man is found unconscious after crashing his car. He asked police to check on his girlfriend, recalling flashes of violence. Now he's on trial for her brutal murder.
The Visions of Violence murder trial. Live coverage today on Court TV. This week on Opening Statements.
From the retrial of Karen Reed to the doomsday cult mom, we're getting you all ready for the country's most anticipated trials.
Opening Statements with Julie Grant. Mornings at 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Thank you for following along with us. We are about 15 minutes away from a news conference that's been announced by the LA District Attorney regarding the Menendez brothers case and whether or not they should get resentencing.
Yeah, we'll see what new DA Hochman has to say out in Los Angeles concerning that. A lot of eyes will be there, and we'll take it live. But let's head back to Iowa now for the Visions of Violence murder trial. The defendant is on the stand, Christopher Behal. He sort of meandered here. It's almost a confession there on the stand. Before we go in, Joseph Tully, this seems to be setting up for hoping that the jury will think it's not premeditated, that maybe a lesser is a choice.
Exactly, yes. So to address what you said earlier, you have unconsciousness, which is an absolute defense, but here it is not a defense to second degree. So they're trying to get around maybe first degree, and if you could get a second degree in a first degree case, it is a victory for the defense, and as near as I can tell, that's probably what the defense strategy is here.
Let's go back in now. Thank you for that, Joseph. We're going to listen to the rest of what the prosecution gets out of this defendant on the stand. Let's pick it up where we left off.
You stabbed her with the knife that states Exhibit 37?
I believe that was what was said, yes.
Yep. And you told Detective Rowling you remember stabbing Taylor?
Yes.
You stabbed her in the throat?
I believe that's what was said, yes.
By you?
Correct.
And you stabbed Taylor in the throat while she was by the front door to your apartment?
I believe that's what was said, yes.
By you?
me, correct.
And you told Detective Rowling you couldn't say why you stabbed her?
Correct.
But you thought maybe it was because Taylor was still moving and you might as well put her out of her misery given how much damage you'd already done to her.
Correct, that was what was said.
By you?
Correct.
You told Detective Rowling that you remembered stabbing Taylor with the knife 2 to 3 times?
Correct.
Do you still remember that as you sit here today?
Do I still remember exactly what? I'm sorry.
Let's break it down. Do you still remember stabbing Taylor that night, March 13th to 14th of 2024?
No.
Taylor had 6 stab wounds to her neck,
According to evidence, yes.
and she had another 7 stab wounds to her torso.
According to evidence, yes.
You don't dispute those?
I cannot dispute the evidence displayed.
All right. And you're the one that caused those stab wounds.
I am unaware.
Do you think someone else did it?
I cannot say for sure either way.
Is that simply because sitting here today you've forgotten stabbing her with the knife?
No, sir. What was being attested to is that I said to Detective Rawlings that she was stabbed 2 times, 2 to 3 times.
You told him, Detective Rowling, that you're the one who stabbed her 2 to 3 times.
I believe that's what was said, yes.
When you told Detective Rowling that you remembered stabbing Taylor, did you remember stabbing Taylor?
At the time, yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Show you State's Exhibit 25. Do you recognize this?
I do.
Is this your screwdriver?
It is.
It's got Taylor's blood on it.
Yes.
You told Detective Rowling you didn't remember anything about a screwdriver.
Correct.
Do you remember anything about a screwdriver today?
No.
Okay. Do you agree that you stabbed Taylor with that screwdriver?
No.
You agree she had 23 stab wounds from that screwdriver?
According to evidence, yes.
She had 9 stab wounds from the screwdriver in her head.
According to evidence, yes.
She had 3 stab wounds from the screwdriver in her neck.
According to evidence, yes.
6 stab wounds from the screwdriver in her torso.
According to evidence, yes.
5 more stab wounds to her right upper extremity.
According to evidence, yes.
And you did that to her.
I cannot say.
If you didn't do it, who did?
I cannot say.
You killed Taylor Escontrias?
I cannot say.